What's going on, everybody? Max the Melonhead here, and today I am bringing you a product review of the Andy Anderson Heron skateboard flight deck from Pal Peralta. This is Andy's first pro model. I forget what year it came out. I was not skateboarding when this board came out. He's already on his, I think, third iteration pro model right now. But this is the very first one that he came out with, and this was the board that I was really drawn to when I decided to start skateboarding. This is the board that I've ridden pretty consistently almost every single day for the last 6 or 7 months. I got this board in April. I started skateboarding, or at least learning skateboard tricks, back in December of 2022. At the time, I only had longboards like to learn ollies on and stuff. I had some hybrid longboards because if any of you have been following my channel for a little while, I started with downhill longboarding for many years, doing power slides, gloves, all of that stuff, and then slowly transitioned into the world of skateboarding within the last year or so. So yeah, I initially was learning stuff on longboards, like how to ollie, just trying to get the basics down of ollieing, and just basically just being comfortable trying to learn like street tricks and transition. But that was really uncomfortable to do on a longboard, especially a longboard that's like 36 inches wide, 20-inch wheelbase. It was just really heavy and just really counterproductive to what I was trying to do. I tried an 825 deck at first, just a local cheap shop deck, which, support your local skate shops. That's great. I just was like a really uninformed skateboard consumer. I know that 825 is the standard shape of skateboards in the modern times. I feel like most people I meet ride an 825, and that's great for a lot of people. But I am 6'3", 6'4" height wise. I have a size 12 foot, which, there's lots of people who do have feet my size or they're my height and they still ride an 8 or 825. I know back in the 90s everyone was riding 7.5s and they were my size. But coming from that longboard background where I was learning to ollie on these 10.5-inch wide boards, an 825 was just way too drastic of a transition for me to get into skateboarding, and it just really wasn't any fun for me. As I got more enthralled in skateboarding, one writer that I was really drawn to initially was Andy Anderson. I know when you get into skateboarding in today's age, like a lot of videos that come up are from Braille. So I'm pretty sure I was introduced to Andy Anderson through watching Braille videos, trying to get how-to videos and stuff on tricks. I always rock a helmet. I don't judge. I don't care if you wear safety gear, but I was like drawn to Andy because he wore a helmet and he was such a cool, down-to-earth guy, it seemed, in the videos, and he had really cool, unique tricks that I wasn't really ever shown before. Kind of started looking into him. I found this pro model that he had, 9 inches wide, 15-inch wheelbase, and almost 33 inches long. So it wasn't as big as those longboards I was learning tricks on, but it was bigger than that 825 that I was trying to ollie on that I just couldn't get comfortable on. So, I jumped at this deck, ended up getting it with 159 Thunder trucks, hollow lights, so pretty light truck. Initially, I was riding longboard cruiser wheels on this board, switched to Pal Dragons, rode those for 3 months, got them really kind of tiny from power sliding, because I was still doing a lot of that while I was learning skateboarding tricks. And then, as the most recently, I've been riding Andy's Nano Cubic wheel. Haven't ridden this wheel enough to really give like a full review on it. It's a bit harder than the Pal Dragons, a bit wider. It's a different shape. It's like a conical type shape. I've been really liking them so far. Maybe I would do a video on them in the future, but today, I'm just here to talk about this Andy deck and how it's helped me as a beginner skater, especially transitioning from longboarding. So, it took a little bit of getting used to still, going from longboarding into riding a deck this size. I know most people watching this that are just skateboarders would look at me crazy saying, oh, 9 inches is small, 15-inch wheelbase is small. That's huge for most people. This this would only be seen in transition skating for a lot of people. But you know, it was a really good stepping stone for me. After I got comfortable and used to this size, you know, it was still great for power slides. Having that wide platform to put your feet and lock into the concave on this board was really great for still learning to do stand-up power slides, reverts, all of that stuff really comfortably while still going at a bit of speed. You know, it gave me a lot of so the 825 deck I had a 14.25-inch wheelbase. A lot of people don't pay attention to wheelbase, but going from a 14.25 to a 15-inch wheelbase made a significant difference in my confidence when trying to learn ollies and any other type of flat ground popping trick. Just having that 3/4 of an inch really like made or broke my experience. Sorry, fumbling a little bit. But this board, you know, I'll get to what I don't like about it soon, but as a beginner perspective in getting those foundations in my skateboarding ability, this board has just been amazing. I have learned to ollie over obstacles on this board, and ollie up curbs, and ollie down curbs. I have learned to do my first two-stair on this board. I've learned to frontside 180 on this board. I've learned to comfortably frontside 180 while moving. I have learned all of my fakie ollies and my half cabs and my fakie frontside 180s on this board. I have learned to shove it on this board recently, do pop shove-its and regular shove-its, which I'm getting better at by the day. And you know, that was a big struggle for me for the last year. I have learned, you know, to get comfortable on transition on this board with the wide platform. Riding in like little quarters and half pipes, riding in a bowl. I'm nowhere near like an expert at transition, but it's comfortably allowed for me to dip my toes in the water on transition. I have learned nose stalls, many nose stall variations. This board has a really big, fat nose. You can see I've worn away most of the graphic on the nose because I'm a big nose stall guy because I rode this board. I've learned to do slappy nose slides on this board, learned to do slappy 50-50s. I've learned to do 50-50 stalls. I've learned to board slide on this board. That's, you know, I put my first deck rails on this board because I saw Andy Anderson had deck rails on his board. You know, it sounds like I'm riding on Andy Anderson a lot. He is one of my favorite skaters. Don't get me wrong. I really like how unique he is. Yeah, I like how he thinks outside of the box. And he doesn't really fall into a lot of just stereotypes, which is really cool. But there are other skaters that I like too. So I just wanted to clarify that I've gotten more into the world of skateboarding. My web of skateboarders that I look up to have expanded, but I feel like it's always been Andy Anderson in the main spotlight for me as of starting skateboarding. But yeah, just to say, this board was made by Andy to be a hybrid board for freestyle, street, and transition. And I'm just going to throw in downhill as well, because that's where I come from. That's my background. And this board has just performed really good for downhill as well. But as a beginner skater who wasn't confident on an 825 popsicle coming from longboarding, this board has really like bridged me into the world of skateboarding in such a phenomenal way. I'm really appreciative of what this board has done, because it's really like turned me into like wanting to just be a full skateboarder. Like I used to be half 1 foot in, 1 foot out with the longboarding, but ever since I've ridden this board, I find myself only wanting to practice skateboarding tricks, ollieing, frontside 180, shove-its, everything else, just continuing to advance. And you know, I think as a beginner, this is a really good board to look into for just having a comfortable stance and just, you know, to feel confident in trying those beginner foundational tricks. All right, so now we're getting to the point in the video where I am not going to be riding this board anymore. I decided to make this review because I have ridden this board for 6 months and it has held up really well. I forgot to mention, but this is a PAL flight deck. I'm not sure on the science behind the PAL flight decks fully. I know it's 5 plies of wood and 2 plies of their patented carbon, whatever you want to call it, material that's basically unbreakable. You can see the videos, you can look them up. People run cars over these boards and they still don't snap. Not to say that they don't lose their pop, because after riding this board for 6 months, you see the tail's gotten pretty worn. I ride almost every day for at least 2 to 3 hours if I can, whether that's at midnight because I have work and school, or just if I have off, I'm riding all day. But I ride pretty frequently, and I've noticed in the last 2 months especially that this board has gotten pretty soggy in the tail. It's lost a lot of pop. I've fallen a few times because I thought my ollie was there and clearing a gap or clearing a curb or something, and then, you know, it just the pop didn't feel right and my wheels caught. So even though those PAL flight decks do last longer, I guess, than your traditional wooden deck, from at least what I've heard. Now, I haven't experienced that yet because I haven't really ridden wooden skateboards yet. But I guess this flight deck's lasted a really long time since I've ridden it since April. I have friends that I skate with that have gone through 2 or even 3 wood decks in the amount of time that I've been on this deck. That is to say that I did hold on to this deck, riding it a lot longer than maybe I should have. One, for financial reasons. I am a college student. I don't make a ton of money. I'm not itching to like just spend money on a new board every second I get. And also, I have a lot of sentimental value in this board because I've learned all of my foundational tricks almost on this board. So it's really going to be kind of, I don't know, I feel an emotional connection with this board. I'm with this board hours every day through blood, sweat, tears, everything. You know, I've cried riding this board. I've eaten crap riding this board. I've bled on this board. And I've just really kind of molded myself into the skater that I am because of this board now. So I've held on to it for maybe a month or 2 longer than I really should have. And it's just because I don't want to let go of it. But moving into the future with this board, I just don't think it's what I'm going to want long term, especially once I start getting into more, what's the word? Complex tricks. I don't know. It's a big board, and not to say that you can't learn kick flips on this board, or heel flips, or tray flips, varial flips, and everything in between. It's just, it's going to be, I think it's going to hinder my progress where I'm heading in the direction of skateboarding now. Now that I've gotten these foundational tricks down, I'm about to be entering a world where I want to start flipping the board more. I want to start ollieing up onto bigger obstacles and getting into bigger grinds. And I just don't know if this board is going to really be intuitive for me to be doing those type of things as a beginner still. Now I see Andy does all those things and more on this board when he was still riding it. But he probably learned those tricks, flip tricks, grinds, ollieing big on a smaller board, and got his technique perfected, and then was able to transition onto a bigger board like this. So just going forward, maybe one day I would ride this board again. I would love to ride this board again in the future and get a fresh one. But where I'm heading in skateboarding right now, I just think I'm going to need to start sizing down just to make my life easier. And especially at the quantity that I skate every day, it gets tiring to be ollieing this board 100 times over an obstacle. And I'm really dedicated to skating in the fact that I also have OCD. So I will be out working on ollieing over a ledge or a curb, or getting a pop shove it off of, I'll be trying these lines 100, 200 times in a row without stopping every day. And on a big board like this, that just gets really tiring really fast. So transitioning from that, I picked up a new skateboard at my local shop in Albany, New York, Season Skate Shop. Shout out to them. Really, really awesome guys running that shop. They supported our events and stuff in the past. So I went to Albany with my friends yesterday, and I thought it was perfect time to get a new board. So I've sized down to an 875. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but I think it's good to make small, gradual steps in skateboarding when you are sizing up or down. I think just to get comfortable and just to, you know, try a lot of different sizes and you know what it feels like along the way. So I have picked up the Blue Meanie from Anti-Hero Skateboards. I always thought this was a cool company. And the main reason I got this is because it fit the dimensions I was going for perfectly in my next skateboard. It's about half an inch shorter than the Andy deck. It is an 875 instead of a 9, so it goes about a quarter inch down in width. And also in wheelbase. This is a 15-inch wheelbase on the Andy deck, and the Blue Meanie has a 14.75-inch wheelbase. You know, quarter inch here, half inch there on these dimensions really doesn't sound like a lot unless you skate a lot of boards. But I think that this is perfect for just slowly and gradually sizing down in skateboarding. And I'm really excited to get to know this deck next. It's a wood deck. I've not really spent much time on wood decks. I've only been on the flight technology. Everyone says, or everyone who's ridden flight says it's better than wood, but I think I want to fully experience riding a wood deck for its full lifespan, just to have that perspective as well. So I'm really excited to set this board up. Actually, after I'm done filming this video, I'm going to be setting this board up, and then hopefully tomorrow I'm going to be testing it out for the first time and getting content on it. But yeah, this is going to be a big step in my skateboarding as I start to size down. My long-term goal, or I mean, I guess in the near future goal, I guess this isn't super long-term, but coming off of this Blue Meanie deck, maybe that's going to last 3 or 4 months if I can, depending on how much I skate, because winter is here, so I might going to be having as long of sessions as I did in the summer. But regardless of all that information, my next goal, board-wise, is to switch down to Andy Anderson's second pro model, the symmetrical egg board. That one is 875 in the middle, 8.5 on the feet, and it has a 14.5-inch wheelbase. So that would be another perfect size down from the Blue Meanie. I didn't want to go straight to Andy's other deck just because it was a bit bigger of a jump, as well as the fact that I did want to experience a product from another company and also just have that gradual step down, like I said. So, you know, maybe come spring, summertime, I'm going to finally switch down to Andy's second deck, and I'll be talking about that one day. But yeah, I guess just the main point of this review was to express to anybody who's looking into starting skateboarding, or maybe someone who is very big into longboarding and wanting to switch into skateboarding, that this Andy deck really served me well, and it got all of my foundational tricks ingrained in me while still feeling very, very comfortable on the board. So, you know, shout out to Andy Anderson for making this awesome deck. Shout out to Pal Peralta for, you know, giving him the outlet to make that deck. And just shout out to everyone who loves skateboarding, man. This is just, skateboarding is a beautiful community. I feel really honored and privileged to be a part of it. Almost every skateboarder I meet, whether it's in New York City, Albany, here in Oneonta where I live, just really great people. It's like instant connection with most of those guys, is because they share that passion. And if you really become enthralled in the world of skateboarding, there's nothing else that you really want to do. And you know, I'm just, you know, I couldn't be happier to be a part of such a wonderful community. So yeah, I guess that's it for this video. You can like and subscribe. I'm always posting shorts Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays of my riding progress. Gonna start making some longer videos like this, maybe, if people like this. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.